The following podcast is brought to you exclusively by the Rad Rob Radio Network.
Welcome to Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. This podcast is hard-hitting, in-depth, cutting-edge look into the sport of bowling. You will get unfettered access into the mind of one of the most gifted bowlers of this generation, who just happens to be the son of a living legend. So, without further ado, let's introduce you to the host of the show, Rad Rob, Rob Francois, Dr. Ocho, and the incomparable Johnny Petraglia Jr.
Hey guys, welcome to Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. I'm your host, Rad Rob, Rob Francois. Welcome everybody here tuning in on Facebook, on Johnny Petraglia's Facebook page, and my YouTube channel, Rad Rob Gaming. Dr. Ocho is off this week, and he will be docked his pay for it. So sorry, Och, but that's going to cost you. We're going to have to add one more week onto your contract when it's up. So make sure you don't do that too often. So let's introduce the second man of the team. His name is on the marquee. He is the most handsome man in the sport of bowling, who also has the biggest guns, whether in his closet or in his sleeves. He is the one and the only Mr. Johnny Petraglia Jr. What's up, JP?
Not that much, Rad Rob. Pleasure to be here as always. And as always, looking forward to diving into some more bowling talk. The Masters being completed, the continuing issues surrounding the banned bowling balls, and what's happened since last week when we spoke about it first. And honestly, the biggest news and most thing I've been looking forward to the most for tonight is our very, very special guest, who most of the bowling world already knows. But in case you don't know who's below me, Rob, why don't you go ahead and introduce my homie?
Well, he is the co-host of the Bohn N Zano Zone podcast, the second most knowledgeable guy of PBA trivia behind JP Jr. He is the guy who went to get fake IDs with you, Johnny, when you were 18, or throw in the famous first hole at Pebble Creek.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He is the one and only Mike Val. Good evening, sir. What's going on, buddy?
What's up, guys? Thank you for having me.
It's an absolute.
Yes, we had some pretty interesting conversations off air. We're going to give some good stories tonight, but obviously the hot topic of the last week and a half or so has been the USBC banning 6 balls and the fallout from that. We heard what Johnny had to say last week, but Zano, I want to get your opinion on that because you are a pretty outspoken guy. When you first heard this announcement, what was your initial reaction?
So this news broke about 15 minutes after we did our show last Tuesday. And honestly, my jaw hit the floor when this came out. And the first thing I said was, this is during round 1 at the Masters. Like, why is the timing happening now? It made no sense. And finding out more, they released the info maybe 15, 20 minutes right before C Squad hit the lanes. So it was like a bomb went off in the bowling center. But why during round 1 of the Masters are they going to release that information? Why? That made no sense. The second part of this whole thing was, well, you can't use it in USBC competition, right? Any national event. Well, what about the guys who just bowl nationals for the past 4 weeks that had those 6 balls in their bag?
Right.
Or what about the poor guy who was on the flight over to Vegas who just landed at McCarran, who has a Wolverine, Ultra Reality, and a Target Zone in his bag? What's he doing? See ya. It makes no sense.
This is hitting the exact same points that we touched on too, Rad Rob. It's exactly right. The timing of it, again, going back to what we spoke about in depth last week, it's how could you screw that many bowlers in that spot, in that moment? And he's hitting the nail on the head with everything that he's saying, Mike is. Go ahead, but
it doesn't make sense to me. Last year, they had the mask rule mandate, right? So the Nationals started in the state of Nevada, Johnny. You got to wear the mask indoors, right? And then in the middle of May, I think your governor lifted that rule. So by the time I was going out there in June, we were able to walk into a building with no mask on, but USBC said no because it was fair to the integrity of the tournament. Everybody has to bowl with the mask. Okay, fine, no problem. Well, Barnes just took the lead 2 weeks ago, throwing 2 of those 6 balls. Now, granted,
Yeah, he
Barnes
threw an
didn't know.
altered. Was it an altered reality and what else?
And a phase 4.
And a phase 4.
Yeah,
I didn't
so
know the
granted,
second ball. I knew he threw the AR though.
Yeah, so Chris had no idea they were illegal when he did it, and we're not saying Chris is cheating by any means. But why don't I have the same opportunity to use the same equipment that Chris did when he did put up his number? You know, you talk about fairness and equality. That's fairness and equality right there. You know, and I don't want to hear, oh, they're going to release 12 new balls by the time I go out there in June. It's BS. Or I don't want to hear, oh, you know, you're talented enough where you can make anything else work. It's BS. I want to have the same, you know, the same playing field that Barnes had, that the guys in the beginning of March had. Why do I have to be penalized for it? And that's where the USBC needs to just step in and say, you know what, we can do this, but we'll do it after the tournament's over.
You want to answer that question?
Yeah, Derek Mashad wants to know, what advantage do you have with the mask on?
Is that really a question?
I actually think what he's trying to ask is you brought up the mask mandate because you were trying to explain in the situation of the mask mandate here in Nevada that even though like you could walk into South Point into the casino and play tables without a mask on, once you entered the USBC, well, the bowling plaza at South Point and into the USBC venue, you had to wear the mask because everybody that bowled prior to you also had to wear the mask. So in other words, the mask mandate was brought up to compare the disadvantage that bowlers have now bowling after this rule was instated. And then he mentioned Chris Barnes. Chris Barnes is leading all events through an altered reality and a phase 4 for all 9 games. Now, Chris Barnes is probably going to lead all events at this point, regardless of what he's throwing. So let's just pretend it wasn't Chris Barnes and it was somebody else. It was my teammate, Shea Bittenbender, and he was leading, and he threw those bowling balls. Now, when, let's say, Pete Weber comes out, he says, well, you know, what do you mean? I can't throw the Wolverine, whatever he says. Now, he's not on that level playing field, and you would expect somebody like him to at least have the same advantages that the previous players had. That's why Mike brought up the mask. So
how about it?
And I guess the advantage or disadvantage is it's harder to fucking breathe in a mask when you bowl. So, yeah, it sucks wearing one.
How about a story broke last night? A guy from New York posted this last night. One of his buddies goes to bowl. He weighs in his balls, one of them being a Wolverine. USBC sends it through, and he gets through like 4 or 5 frames of game 1 before they take it off the rack. Now, not for
because other bowlers on the pair recognized it, right? Nobody from
correct.
I had heard that other bowlers on the pair were the ones that said, dude, you can't throw that. It wasn't even a USBC employee.
But again, how are the people that are running the scales in the check-in room letting that even go through? Like, where are their brains? That just shows a level of like nonsense from USBC.
I couldn't agree more. And I understand that. What's up, Johnny? Good to see you, bro. That's what irks me. I mean, when you're going through TSA, like, you can't just let one knife slip through, right?
Yeah.
It's especially when the sign says no sharp objects here. Like, it's like the one thing they're looking for bombs, they're looking for knives, they're looking for shit that's not supposed to be in a carry-on, right? Like, how could you not have a huge thing on the wall? How could you not have your employees looking at pictures of all 6 of the bowling balls? And not for nothing, other than checking where the X is and a no-thumb bowler, they don't even have scales anymore. They just, I bowled already. You throw your shit up there. They're looking for the X for a no-thumber. They don't even weigh them anymore. And they're checking the serial number to make sure your purple hammer is not from 1617. So the whole thing is just absurd to me that you don't take the extra time to say, okay, there's 6 bowling balls in the 100 or some odd different ones that I'm checking today. How do you let one through? It's absurd,
Especially when they brought so much attention to it, right? Like,
yeah,
you've gotten so much blowback from it, and to not be that thorough and to let one get through, it's not a good example for what's going on.
Johnny, here's a question for you, and I don't know if this is the case anymore. When you bowl the TV show at the Masters, does the PBA rules take precedent in the stepladder still or no?
I believe so, yes.
Then
But
why?
no, it couldn't have.
No, the
Because they
USBC
would have been
was
allowed to. Alex Aguiar brought this up last week. Yeah, otherwise they would have been technically allowed to use the 6 banned balls because they weren't banned by the PBA. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, but I mean, the product registration rules kick in, but the balls would have been allowed on the TV show if the PBA takes over, right?
I would assume so, yes.
Right?
Because I guess it's the tournament itself is over at that point, right? That's TV, that's entertainment. But the actual event itself kind of ceases. But it's a very slippery slope. I mean, that can go either way. Race Marsh asks, when there is an honor score, each squad at Nationals, does the legality of the equipment really matter? When there is an honor score, each squad at Nationals, does the legality of the equipment really matter? He's spot on too, dude. I'm embarrassed that I only went 30 over this year. It's embarrassing to me. I bowled way better than that, but I only went 30 over. Earlier today, I saw somebody post on Facebook that said, you think there'll be a 3,600 this year? I didn't write on that post because a lot of people that I respect wrote no shot, no shot, no shot, no chance, no chance, right? And I don't like confrontation, so I didn't want to write, I think a team has a legit shot to shoot 3,600 in the arena. They curve on 1, 2, 3, and there's hold on 8, 9.
Matt put up 3,500 last week.
McNeil?
Yeah, 3,498, I think it was.
Yeah, he's subbing on my team. He's subbing on my team again tomorrow night. He fucking destroys Nationals, dude.
Butch Cooper, watching on YouTube, says they're also looking for grips that stick out further than the edge of the finger hole, so that would damage the machine and made me cut them down. Have you heard anything about that?
Yeah, they're being super duper for all you guys watching. Super duper crazy, insane sticklers for vacuum inserts or any exposure of finger grips above the bowling ball surface. I'm 5/8 away in my pitch and my fingers, and I use vacuum inserts. So I usually have a bunch of excess on the back. I shave mine down. I got eye level with the ball with a straight edge razor, and I got the backs of the grips almost below the surface of the ball. They are. So if you guys' grips are raised in any way, shape, or form, make sure you cut them down before you come out here because they will make you go and get them cut down. So
just show up with a purple hammer from 16, a Wolverine, and a big weight hole on the axis and see what happens.
Yeah. Good idea.
Yeah, for sure.
They'll let that one slide too.
Thank you, Jerry. I'm taking the over too. I didn't want to write it, but I'm like, I think somebody's going to shoot 3,600 at USBCs this year.
Let me ask you this, Mike. How come the PBA said we found nothing? We've done our own testing. We have nothing to back up what the USB is saying. Why is there a disconnect between the two? Is it
I
a
don't know,
pissing
but
contest?
I think it is, but kudos to Tom Clark. I think Johnny's would agree with me on this one. Kudos to Tom Clark for saying we're not going to enforce the rule with the balls. He wants to have all his information before he makes a decision. But there is a big disconnect between Chad and Tom Clark. There really is. So, John, here's a question I brought up on my show last night.
Okay.
Let's just say you're going to go bowl the Lucy this summer. You're a Storm guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
You are having the noodles with a Wolverine. You're bowling with Shannon O'Keefe, also a Storm person. She can't hit the broadside of a barn. You know that ball is going to read the lane well, whatnot. She can't throw it because the USBC has the rights to the PWBA. When are they going to make that change? You ever think of that one?
Nope. Not until this very moment.
That's a national tournament, and the USBC basically owns the PWBA, not the PBA. So the guys can throw those balls at the Lucy. And I'm just thinking of the Lucy was the only tournament where that would play into.
Yeah.
But the women can't. But the women can't.
Wow. Like we said, the timing is just insane. And do you have an answer to that one? Because I sure as hell don't. What would they say? I mean, I guess at this point, now that we know they can change the rules whenever the fuck they feel like it, what's the difference, right? They'll probably tell them, once they get there. No, you're exactly right, Mike Val. Mike Wolf can throw. Oh, not Mike Wolf. Wrong company.
Yes, but we know what you're saying.
Jesper and Belmo can throw the Wolverine, but Liz Johnson and Shannon O'Keefe, you guys have to throw gems and astrophysics or something like that.
Yeah. And kudos to Belmo for it almost seems like the USBC had a little bit of a hard-on for him with the way they wanted to test his equipment. And what they really should do, and I said this last night, if they want to go into the room away from everybody, that's fine. You have your USBC official, you have the player, and you don't even have a rep from said company. Have a third party that knows equipment, knows all that stuff, but he's a neutral party, not affiliated with Storm or Brunswick or whatever it is, and then you can test the equipment. That's how you make it fair.
Yeah. They pulled about 50 guys in there, and it was voluntary, but they had about 50 in there, and Belmo opted not to. I mentioned in our show last week that you're going to have to ask, the leader of the pack to volunteer if you're going to ask everybody else, So, and I was actually kind of shocked that Belmo said something on social media.
I was too.
He's usually very low key, like sticks to himself. And it was a very respectful post that he made, but I was very surprised to see it at all. It actually shocked the shit out of me.
He did it very classy. He did it very, very classy. And I don't think there's one person that disagrees with his decision. I have nothing to hide. I'll test it, but I want to be there.
Right.
And he's right. And do you think that the USBC would have pulled a guy who's 300 under after the first round of the Masters to test their equipment?
Of course not.
No. They don't care.
No. Absolutely not.
They haven't released the data yet, as far as I know. Do we know why?
Fake news. It's fake news.
That's kind of what I was thinking too. I mean, we had Rob Verano on the show last week, and measuring 20 phase fours in his pro shop. All of them tested legally. The PBA doesn't want to change anything. So yeah, I do think it's fake news. But again, it still doesn't make sense because the timing doesn't even match the fake news.
Which again,
who are you trying to screw after round one of the Masters? Where if you qualify 64th, you have the exact same chance as the guy that qualified first. What are you doing?
Are you trying to screw somebody, or did somebody on the inside tip them off?
We talked about this last week, and I never really hit the nail on the head with it, but I still don't know, man.
There has to be a reason why it started, right, Johnny? Like there has to be a starting point. Like they said, what the fuck is up with these balls? So somebody had to say something.
Yeah, something had to happen, especially, I mean, as long as I've been around, I never knew a ball to be soft other than the SD73, which was sold as being the ball that was below,
hardness,
to hook more, which was still legal, I guess. Well, not legal in tournaments, but you could still throw it in league, right? So like up from that time when I was 9 years old or 10 years old when that ball came out, now I'm like, okay, this is the first ball I've ever seen get banned for hardness issues in the Spectre. The Purple Hammer, at least I understood, like, okay, it's been out for 6 years. They have enough cumulative data to say, hey, these balls from this pour do this, fine. Okay, whatever you got to do, fine. Yeah. But then the Spectre, got me. It just got me. I thought, Jesus, the first ball they've ever poured in the last 25, 30 years, 40 years, they've been providing services to bowlers. Wow, they must have had a slip up. There's no way 6 fucking more had the same fucking slip up.
Agreed.
So now the tour season's coming to an end. They've only got the playoffs now. They're not going to test any bowling balls before the playoffs. So now, by the time we get to next season, I guarantee you, we don't hear one thing about a ball test on any other manufacturer's products at this point.
Mike, do you think we're going to go after Brunswick or anybody else? I mean, there's going to be more of this stuff to come, or is it just maybe a vendetta for some reason?
That's what I was going to ask you, Johnny. You think it's going to be a pissing contest? Okay, they went after the Purple Hammer, which was not a Brunswick ball. They went after the EBI Purple Hammer, not the Brunswick Purple Hammer.
Right.
Okay, so it's like they threw the first shot. Is Storm going to retaliate now, and now they're going to throw a bullet at Brunswick? They can't get into a pissing contest. It's not good for the game. It's not good for the sport.
Well, I don't think it's – go ahead, keep going.
No, it's not good for the industry. If you're going to throw a shot now, right? They threw the shot at Storm, whoever it was, if somebody did tip them off. Well, is Boomershine or, somebody, a Klemkin, are they going to fire back? I mean, this can't be good. They can't do this.
I don't think there's going to be any wars between the brands.
Okay.
I think all of the brands, shit, man, if anything, I would hope to see them form some sort of a what's the word I'm looking for?
An alliance.
Yeah.
Form like an alliance against the Capitol. Hunger Games reference for anybody that's seen it.
Yeah.
But no, but like off the top of my head, dude, I can think of a ball that's been banned from every company now. The Spectre from Storm, Purple Hammer 16-17 edition from Hammer, and that fucking that Jackal from Motive. For the RG was too high, above like
some of the cores. Yeah. I said last night at our show, Johnny, what they should really do is have somebody from Brunswick, somebody from Storm, and somebody from Motive all come together and say, you know what, we're going to use the same resin to pour, right? And it's going to be the same hardness. We'll put our own finishing touches on it. So there's equality with the equipment moving forward. So each brand would still be a little bit different in their own respect, but there's going to be no more. They're going to stand up to USBC that way.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, why do you want to get into the pissing contest with everybody? You don't.
You don't.
You're fighting the monopoly. You're fighting, the evil empire in the USBC. You want to beat them, and that's the only way to do it.
Exactly right. I agree. They're too big of a titan to be defeated on their own.
Brett Loringer wants to know, and I don't know if you guys have heard anything about this, but JT Jackson recently made some comments regarding the left side of the lane on Facebook, and T. Clark decided to fine him for content detrimental to the PBA.
I'd like to see that written in the contract when you become a professional bowler, because if it's not written anywhere, it's fucking bullshit. That's somebody who's paid. JT's a good man and somebody that's paid his dues in the PBA. He bowls a lot of events. He doesn't make TV. I don't know how much he cashes, but he contributes his entry fee every week and goes out and has a smile on his face everywhere he goes, and he attracts people because he's well known especially in the celebrity community. Mm-hmm. And to find somebody who actually has an outreach, it's not for nothing. I am outspoken enough in my feelings about the USBC, but I've never really agreed with like 85% of the things that Tom Clark does, and that's being modest. So I think it's disgusting to. How are you going to find JT Jackson for saying the left side has been shit lately?
He's not saying anything that's not true.
Yeah, I mean, that's for sure. I mean, it's. I think it's fucking stupid. That's what I think.
The lefty-righty debate's always there on tour. It's always there. It's never going to go away. It's the biggest argument in the history of bowling.
What up, JoJo?
Derek Michaud says, I'm not smart when it comes to this stuff. I believe during the offseason they should test all the balls they want and make a list so it's fair. I'm sorry for my uneducated comments, just trying to learn more about the sport I live for. I mean, that's fair. To me, they should be very thorough with their testing. If, like we said, you got pro shop owners drilling balls and they're all good, and testing them, well, then fine. Let those in and let the other ones out. Like if there are any anomalies or any bad pours or any issues with the balls, not being hard enough, fine. Test them. Don't let them in. But the ones that are legal, let them in. It's to fucking go through this witch hunt and exchange program. And a lot of people are just saying, fuck it. I'm not going to exchange anything. I like these balls. If they're not going to affect me during my league play, fuck it. I don't care what the USBC has to say. Yeah. Why? It was such a knee-jerk reaction. And even with the Spectre, too. You can't tell me every single fucking Spectre was bad, right? No. So test the ones that are good. The ones that aren't, fine. Throw
especially because if you've ever been in a bowling production plant, there's way more than one bowling ball being poured at the same time on those conveyor belts. So it doesn't make sense that the elixir would just happen to get fucked up for this batch. What up, Keebs? G. Gibbs is downstairs making us a hang on. I'm looking out the bedroom window. He's making like London broils. Ox here from the 900 Global booth. They're making London broils and potatoes. I'm going to smash it when we're done here.
Mike, why the knee-jerk reaction on all of this?
But what about? Well, I'm gonna ask a question before that one. Okay. If a ball has multicolors, right? Like the Ultra Reality has the black and the red and whatnot. I saw Wriggles did this, and Wriggles had a durometer in a pro shop. The red part of the ball tested to be like 72, which was under what it should be. But the black part of the ball tests to be like 74, which is fine. So the colors, obviously, if a ball is multicolored, how do you determine if it's good or bad? If you have a solid black ball, and Johnny, you'll agree with this, the solid balls are always going to be a little bit harder.
Absolutely.
So when you get into those 2-3 color balls that are mixed, how do you deem a ball good or bad? And also, when, let's say, the Spectre, right? The first batch of Spectres that come off the line go to the staffers. Those balls are going to be top of the line perfect.
Absolutely.
It's the ones that are after and after and after, those are the ones that are in question. But it's a joke. It's an absolute joke.
But do we know why that happens? Like you say, the first batch is going to be the top of the line, but why would the pours get different? Like why would anything change? If is it automated? I mean, I don't even know how they're made. So if you guys have any,
is it like supply and demand? Like they're on back order and they just got to pump them out of the factory? Like some are going to fall through the cracks. I mean, is that how it is, Johnny?
I would assume. I've never actually worked in there before, but your reference to making sure the initial batch is good, it's, you make sure the exact amount of resin touches the exact amount of for the hybrid mixture. You make sure that the engraving is set in the right spot. You really make sure that the pin sketch is ace. Like you make sure knowing that those first 300 or 400, but then, if you have a ball like the Purple Hammer and you got to produce X amount of days just to keep up with demand, and now you got workers in there for 12, 13 hours a day. And, I can whip up eggs in the morning. Every once in a while, I hit the eggs too hard and they come out the side or a shell goes in.
Yeah.
And something that minute can affect that particular batch of that pour. So it could be something like that. But then again, this is fucking bullshit. Nothing is fucking soft.
Yeah.
No.
Sorry, I'm losing it.
Now,
by the way, we gotta make sure we talk about the Masters.
Oh, we will.
At some point.
We're gonna get to it. When I hit up a bunch of groups last week on Facebook and posted our show of you talking about it, Johnny, last week, and one of the USBC groups deleted my post. I don't know if it's because of rude comments left on it or they just didn't want the attention, but it was I don't remember which one it was, but it's one that Pete Weber comments on. Slimo was in there as well. So just kind of funny that they deleted the post and
because it was probably factual information and they don't want that.
Hey, maybe Chad will get wind of it and he'll find me.
Yeah, you lose your membership. By the way, they're raising USBC dues next year for everybody.
Good thing. Yeah, every year you lose 500,000 members, you got to fuck everybody else.
Well, honestly, what do we get for our membership?
You don't even get rings anymore. I miss the rings.
What's the point of sanctioning your league? You don't get the awards. I don't care about a 300 ring. Johnny, you don't care about a 300 ring. But the guy who has one or two, he wants another one.
Absolutely.
Right? So what do you get for your sanction fee? For your $25 you have to pay next year, right? What are you getting for it? You get nothing, no awards. And by the way, now they can tell you what you can and can't throw in a league. Have a good season, guys. What's the point of paying $25?
Yeah.
What do you get?
I legit today signed up for a 16-man singles sport league unsanctioned at South Point Tuesdays at 7 p.m. this summer.
The only thing that they
that's my answer to what you just said.
The only
they do
thing
nothing.
No, the only thing they do is they insure the prizes. They insure the money. They insure the prize fund. That's it. So if you get robbed or whatnot, USBC has the insurance on it. That's it.
Yeah, I'm thinking like no more banquets. Like I don't even get a goddamn patch anymore.
No.
Yeah, I still love the patches from ABC.
No patches. We get gifts from South Point. We get nice T-shirts, and if you're on the end pair, you get free beverages.
Oh, that's pretty nice.
Yeah. So South Point takes care of us way more than whatever our dues do.
The proprietors do that. The independent centers will take care of the bowlers. They do.
Yeah, for sure.
The USBC just takes a big piss on us. I'm sorry to say it like that, but they do.
I understand, and I agree.
It is. I mean, it sucks, and it does affect everybody, especially like you said, Mike, the guys that are coming in that can't even afford to buy new balls. They can't go to the truck because they're not on staff and just drill something else. If that's part of their arsenal, they're fucked.
So a buddy of mine, I'm not going to say who the bowler is, but we were talking about him before we came on. He was bowling the Masters last week, and he was telling me that he had 14 balls with him, and 8 of them were illegal. So he went on the truck to do some work on some stuff, and some regional guy came on with a slip, and he goes to the guy, "Hey, the Storm guy, let's say Jimmy Callahan, sent me in here, help me out with a ball." And the guy in the truck looked at him and says, "Get the F off the truck. If you're not a national guy, I'm not helping you. Get out." I mean, that's how many guys ran to the truck.
Yeah.
And he was saying even like the pro shops in Vegas were just out of everything last week.
That's what we talked about. We said,
my man, Charlie Tapp.
Yeah, I'll let you read this in a second. But we were talking about this last week about the snowball effect of the inconvenience that was done or that happened because of this decision and the timing of it. To tell the national staffers you got to go to somebody's house or you got to go to the truck, and then to tell everybody else who's not national to hopefully find somebody that knows somebody in Vegas that will have a shop that is willing to do this for you. It had to be like a gas shortage last week.
Yeah,
like people just running everywhere because this is not for nothing. These are 6 awesome bowling balls, good sellers that every single Storm person has in their bag. And there was a lot of them in that field of 420, 430, whatever the fuck it was.
It had to be madness for everybody, honestly. I mean,
absolute madness for everybody.
Charlie Tapp, check them in at the tournament site like before. You cash if they get tested. If they fail, they sit in the cooler for 2 hours and get checked again. Don't pass. If it doesn't pass, the ball's tossed. It's an old pro saying that. I mean, like,
can you imagine Johnny? Can you imagine Charlie Tapp and Joe Hutchinson finding out their balls are illegal like 15 minutes before a block started? What those two would have done?
I would make sure that I found a camera if I didn't have it on me. Not 1 for the laughs, 2 for the knowledge I'd gained from the amount of conversing in that 15 minutes, and 3 just to sit there and stare
and just watch it over and over and over and over again.
I mean, any of the old pros, right? I mean, your dad, Mark Ross, anybody. I mean, they'd be pretty pissed if that happened to them.
Sorry, Rad Rob, go ahead.
Yeah, that's fine. Travis Pitchford, we talked about this in our local associations. The only reason we could find was that the league money was insured to a certain point.
That's what you guys said, right?
Yeah, I said that.
and other than that, no other reason.
No other reason.
Exactly. Perfect.
Chris Wilson, I don't think the balls are the problem. I think it's the oil on the lanes. These balls are so strong, and normal house shots are so cliffed. I think they should work on lane oil and patterns. There's no need to sanction anything anymore. Thoughts on that, Mike?
Are we really going to get into the oil lefty-righty lane debate?
I mean, why not? I mean, it's a relevant argument.
I'll put it to you this way. So, Johnny, I run the Monmouth County Masters back at home, right?
I do know that.
All right. So every year, John Janowitz helps me with a pattern, tweaking the pattern, etc. Right. So I had 116 bowlers in the field this year. All right. This is nice. Basic math. 116 bowlers in the field.
Okay.
22 of them were left-handed.
Okay.
4 of them made the finals into the top 16.
Okay.
I had somebody tell me that I blocked out the left.
That's a 20%.
How the hell do you say that to somebody?
It's a 20% ratio on a 26% percentile or a 26 percentile.
Three of the final 4 were lefty. The runner-up was lefty. And this person had the balls to say, I blocked the left. Are you insane?
That's not right. You have to go, like, in other words, if there's 100 bowlers in a bowling event and 80 of them are right-handed and 20 of them are left-handed, you go based off the odds and the rules of numbers, don't you? So if there's only 20 left-handers in the field, and let's say the cut ratio is 1 in 5, only 4 guys are supposed to make it out of that batch, whereas the other ones are supposed to be, however many you are, 20 right-handers, we'll say. So that's why it's also so evident when the left is easy, because there should never be a show that 5 lefties are on, ever. Right. Hence the reason why Reno is the greatest bowling alley in the world. For me, not for you, not for him. Actually, you, it might be, Rob. I'm pointing that way. You're this way. Yeah. It's good for you. It's not for you.
No, stay home. Don't make the flight to Reno. But getting back to Rob, but getting back to that guy's comment, it's not even the pattern on Charlie Tapp at the PW.
I was just going to say, I'm looking at him wearing it and that Nitro shirt from the 91 JP Open.
And those big fucking goggles he used to wear.
Heck yeah. Kalamazoo style. The
South St. Paul's finest.
That's like you said. Are they still legal? I'll hang up and listen. Fucking great.
But
anyway, Mike.
But you know what? Change the pins. Not even the patterns. Change the pins. Make the pins heavier.
We mentioned that, but there could be
Well,
some follow-up on that too.
let me ask you this, because this is what I said. Obviously, we know Neil Feingold. Anybody that doesn't know Neil Feingold, former owner of Howell Lane's wonderful
Greatest
wonderful
junior
man.
bowl in the history of the YBA, Mike Romackle.
Absolutely. First time I ever saw that, not to get off subject, but the first time I ever saw Remac Bowl was at the
EJC
Eastern Junior Classic. And he was throwing that fucking Triton Heat, I think. No, it was a purple ball. It was a purple ball. Maybe the Triton Elite. And just he was fucking like 600 ahead of second.
He beat my buddy Dan. He beat my buddy Danny Kryzak for the title that year.
That's holy shit.
And Ramaculus was the greatest junior bowler I've ever seen in my life. I don't care what anybody says.
Hell
all
yeah.
Right, he was back on track. Oh, it's phenomenal.
Yes. Yeah, sorry. So what happened? What was I saying? I told you I'd forget. What was I talking about?
Story time starting early.
Huh?
You're talking about Neil.
Neil. Neil always said in his bowling alley, he said, because, just like any proprietor in the bowling world, people bitch to you about everything. Your fries are too soft. Your lanes suck. Your approaches are dusty. This guy's shirt's untucked. They will find something wrong, right? And Neil always used to say, when it came to the lane conditions, I'm going to make them as easy as humanly possible, because people that bitch and strike still come back. People that bitch and don't strike don't come back. I can deal with the bitching because they're still, helping my business, right? We were talking last week that if you make the pins heavier, you defeat what resin did for a lot of people, in the respect that 190 bowlers, once resin came out, are now averaging 210. Those people that are now 210, if you make those pins 4 ounces, are going to average 190 again, or 4 pounds, 0 ounces. If you make those pins a little bit heavier to that 4 pounds, you're going to take the 210s and make them 190s. You're going to turn the 235s into 228s, 227s. So you're still going to lose to the people you've been losing to, because you're not leveling the playing field by making the pins heavier in one respect. All you're doing is now saying, well, now you even got to be stronger and have more revolutions if you think you're going to knock them down. Do you feel that that's correct, in the respect that it kind of kills off a generation of bowlers and try and introduce something new for the future generations? Because let's face it, they can't be 3 pounds, 8 ounces in 2040 when these bowling balls go sideways on their own. Let's be real. That's kind of where I'm going with the other side of the pins, because I agree the pins should be heavier, but I'm powerful and I'm in shape and I curve the bowling ball and I can, shit like that. But my dad's 74. My dad wants to bowl on the senior tour for 2 more years. He can barely stand up as it is. He needs oil. Now he needs oil, and he's got to hit 4-pound pins. Those are my thoughts.
No, you're right with that, but maybe you don't do it on the professional level. Maybe on the league level you do, or something like that. But, I mean, majority of the game now is two-handers anyway. They have more power than us, regardless, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, look at like Spencer Robards. Look at him. Those guys that are coming up now. Ryan Barnes. Look at these guys.
Oh my God, they're incredible.
Kevin McCune for one-hander. I mean, there you go. So the pins could be the issue, but no matter what pattern you put down, like look at the Masters, right? Once they broke down, the righties had this to throw it to in match play. I mean, there were some shots on the show where Simo missed by like 3 or 4, and on the right lane, and it still sucked back and blew the rack apart. They just break him down like that. The right always ends up looking like a house shot for these guys sometimes.
Yeah, sure does. I mean, when you have that many talented bowlers burning up that same spot and creating a push, that's one thing. That's why my dad always said growing up, it's a shame you're left-handed. Because all I ever wanted to do was throw the ball that way.
Yeah.
I love to curve it. I didn't want to learn how to throw the ball straight up 5. I wanted to learn how to fucking curve it. I wanted to throw like Jason Couch and Robert Smith, man.
Johnny was the only guy I knew growing up, only lefty I knew that could never play up 10, ever.
No, I could play up 2.
Yep.
I can't play up 10.
He always said that. He goes, I can play up 2, I can play 35, but I can't play 10.
Yeah, I can't see the lane the way Matt McNeil sees a bowling lane, or Rick Lawrence, or Mike Scroggins, or Parker. Who else? Like I can't see I can't see the bowling lane that way. I feel like if I'm aiming to go up the second arrow, that I'm like setting up to go Brooklyn 4-pin or Big 4.
Yeah, well, you have so
Dan says, I am the 190 turn 210 due to easier patterns in bowling balls. Pins can be heavier for pros. League should be easy, keeps people bowling. If a league votes to have heavier pins, cool. That's perfect.
If it's majority rules,
perfect.
Yep.
It couldn't have been said any better. And that's kind of what you were saying too, Mike, about keeping them at the league level.
League bowling is a business, Johnny. And I'll use Neil as the example, right? Neil can make them as easy as he wants, whenever he wants, right? And he can manipulate the gutters by raising them or lowering them. And that's the thing where we bowl, Rob. This building has always been a little bit hard to carry in, right, John? I mean, Howell's always a little bit harder to carry.
Absolutely. It's hard to throw messengers or get it out of the flat gutters there.
Yeah, you can't bounce a pin out of the pit there. It's impossible. But if Neil makes them harder with bad carry, the 206 league guy is going to drive 15 minutes down to Ocean Lanes, Johnny, where they're stone cold walled.
At average 240.
And you can just put your toe in the ball and strike there. Hello, Bear. And the bear.
Hello, Bear.
Hello, Bear. And, but that's
Soda my boss. Soda my.
Yeah, it's a business, right? The bowler is going to want to go to where they're going to score.
Absolutely.
And the proprietor wants the scores because the higher the scores, the more business going through his front door.
Damn right. That's what we were talking about Neil. I'd rather them bitch and strike than bitch and not strike.
Exactly.
Chris Wilson wants to know, how many more years do you think Parker will be on the national tour? One of the greatest shot makers in history, but can't keep up the carry with the two-handers and the high rev players. That's fair.
I'm not speaking on that one.
Right.
That is not my place to speak on. I hope Parker bowls for 65.
Yeah,
I was going to say the same thing. I think Parker will bowl until my dad said in an interview in 1991, he said he'll bowl for the rest of his life. He's not sure how long he'll be competitive. And this is before he was 50. He said, when I'm 50, I'll bowl in the seniors, and then I'll bowl until I can't bowl anymore. I love to bowl. That'll never change. That's going to be the same thing with Parker. Yeah. I feel like Parker will bowl and have a chance to win in his 70s. Look at Parker 35 years ago and look at Parker now. Nothing is different other than he's backed his hand out of it for the last 20 years, mainly because you kind of had to.
And
nothing else.
A little lower. That's it.
Swings a little lower. His feet are the same speed. He's exactly the same. Jerry Francomano, Chendan, he says, greatest line from JP Senior, all bowlers are born right-handed and the great ones overcome it. Got to roll. Great listen. Thanks, Jerry. He has a pillow on the couch at home that has that stitched in it.
Johnny, let's not forget, Parker was 2 wins away from making the show at the Masters last week.
Yeah, he sure was. And that speaks volume of the pattern, and especially in an event like the Masters where it's more of a crapshoot, it's not aggregate totals. They must have been brutal, because anytime they're brutal, the cream of the crop always rises to the top every single time, right? We've talked how if Belmo didn't exist, Anthony Simonson's the best bowler in the world. Anthony Simonson, obviously, we know what happened. Undoubtedly one of the greatest bowling balls in the history, or bowlers in the history of our sport. Norm Duke makes the telecast. Parker Bohn III, like Mike Val said, after going undefeated on day 1 of match play, comes in, has 2 hard losses, finishes 2 matches outside of the show. But all of the guns were there because they were wretched hard this week. There was a super duper emphasis on shot making, spare shooting, everything along those lines. So you saw a lot of different games that you haven't seen in a while because, like Charlie Tapp touched on last week, shorter formatted tournaments cater to different kinds of bowlers and games. Different bowlers are different in their own element. Guys like a Duke and a Parker and a Walter Ray and guys like that are used to having 5 days of competition and 40 games. They're not going out there trying to average 250 in the first block in hopes to make it to the next round. They're going out there with a plan in their head. They have an idea of what they're going to do, how they're going to beat the lanes each day and get to where they have to be. That's why they make it so far especially when the lanes are hard and power is not necessarily the way to go. That's when the playing field gets leveled.
And Parker said it best. The Masters is 2 separate tournaments.
Sure
it's
is.
qualifying, and once you get through qualifying, that part of the tournament's over, and match play is part 2 of the tournament. And anything can happen. And I'm going to touch on this one, guys. I'm sorry, but you have to lose twice to lose the tournament. I'm sorry. Duke needs to lose twice on a TV show. Sorry, has to.
This has been Rob, I don't know if you know how big of a thing this has been for a while, always talking about the tournament leader. It's a shame that you have to win the tournament virtually twice. You have to win the tournament by leading it, and then you have to win it. Well, you make TV anyway. You won the tournament, and then you got to win it again on TV, right? Here is, and everybody has always said, especially in a tournament like the Masters, the tournament leader, nobody beats you. You're the only person in the tournament that doesn't experience a loss at some point. So you're the only person, right? I'm going to snowball with this one, and I'm going to get a little deeper with this.
You talk about your father?
Uh-huh.
That's the story. Yep. I was hoping you.
If you would like to open that story, I'll let you start it.
So
hang on, let me finish mine, and then I'm going to feed right to you because Rob needs to hear this one too. And at this point, I'm pretty sure anybody listening will want to hear this also. But here's the problem. I 1,000% agree the tournament leader has to lose twice, especially in the Masters. 1,000% in the Masters. It's insane to tell the guy that kicked everybody's ass for a week, you don't get the same opportunity as everybody's ass you just kicked. You just sit down. You lost. Good night. Goodbye. Second place. The problem is TV time, because you have to, and it's actually not a problem. They just have to formulate something different, because if the title match occurs in, let's say, their 2-hour window and they have an allotted time for 2 games to be bowled, what happens if they win the first game? What do you do with the rest of the time for the time slot on television? Now, you could do a trophy presentation. You can do interviews. You can maybe have a celebrity. You can pick somebody out of the crowd who's going to bowl a one. If this tournament leader wins the first match here at the Masters, one lucky fan gets entered into a drawing to bowl a 1-game match against last year's defending champion for $1,000 or something like that. And then you have that on television to show that fans can be interacting with the bowl. Do something with the time slot. But that's what I think has got to be what they're worried about. They don't want to take the initiative to have a backup plan if the tournament leader, knowing full well the tournament leader should lose twice. But that's always been my thought, is what are they have to adjust something with their time slot on television.
It's one tournament a year. If a hockey game goes into overtime or a basketball goes into overtime on ESPN or FS1, the camera's still rolling. Yeah. They don't care. They'll cut into whatever's next late. It doesn't matter. And bowling gets pissed on with stuff like that. And
we're not worrying about late, dude. We're worrying about early. We're worrying about if
you can
the tournament leaders.
That's
what I'm saying. So they have to have something prepped to fill that slot.
You have that post-game show now at Randy. That's 15 minutes on the YouTube channel. Well, do that live. True. Have Pressler interview the winner, the runner-up, have the trophy presentation. Before you know it, you're 24 minutes in, and you're eating 6 minutes of commercial, and you're done.
Yeah,
it's not hard.
Mm-hmm. I mean, back in the day,
it's the USBC Masters, though. They don't want to use that time to promote Kimberly Pressler saying, "So, Dom, what ball did you use this week?" "Well, Kimberly, I used a conspiracy scheme with a 60x4 by 30." Like, they don't want to do that because they don't want to merge with the other entity of the sport. Fucking so stupid.
I mean, ABC added the King of the Hill, right? In the mid '90s. I mean, they had time for another game at that point.
Yeah,
another game to their time slot.
Yeah. I agree, but yeah, that's 100%.
But you got to lose twice. And Johnny, I'm going to feed into it right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
I believe it was Dad's first senior tournament he ever bowled, right?
Oh yeah, listen to this.
This is the one I was going with. So it was Dad's.
I don't know about this one. This is a different one.
Oh, well, this is what he told me. It was his first ever national senior tournament, and it was the Senior Masters, and he led the field wire to wire. So he's the number 1 seed on the show, $60,000 for first, $31,000 for second. He bowls Gary Dickinson for the title. He bowls 236, loses by a pin. Thanks for playing. And he loses his mind. Again, why is that? And they told him, well, it's the TV. You know, we don't have the time to go to another match. That's a cop-out. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, it's a cop-out. How many times can you think of, John, where the tournament leader of the Masters is 6-0, they bowl one game on the show and they lose? How many times has that happened? I can think of at least 5.
Several.
Yeah.
Several.
And they do it with a smile on their face. This is where guys need to stand up and say to them, look, this needs to change. Don't have a 3-game match, but have it 2. You know, you lose once, move pairs, you bowl another game. You go right into it.
I like it.
You go right into
it. I couldn't agree more that they should absolutely do something like that. What I was going to tell you was for a long time, and this is no secret, you talk to my dad all the time. My dad was never fond of the Masters. He just stopped bowling and he never liked it. But what he told me was a long, long time ago, I don't remember what year it was, the old format used to be broken up into a bracket system.
Yep.
So in other words, after qualifying, the brackets would be brackets 1 through 16, 17 through 32, 33 to 48, and 49 to 64. And I remember my dad saying he was in somewhere around like 4th or 5th. And with 4 or 5 games left, he had already mentioned, you do realize how idiotic your format is here. Like, I'm not going to qualify in the top 16. It's just not, I'm not going to bowl the other 15 guys that smoked him this week. I'm just going to abide by your rules now. And he proceeded to shoot like a couple hundred under for the next 5 games and moved himself from 5th to like 36th. So he could bowl in the 33 to 48 bracket. And they started coming over to him after he's throwing the scores saying, John, you can't do this. You have to stop this. And my dad's answer was, do what? I'm abiding by your stupid fucking rules. I'm doing this because you're allowing me to do this based off of the way you have the bracket set up. The next year they changed that. One bowled 64 and so on and so on. But that was one of the reasons why, like even then it was idiotic. It just didn't make sense.
And they used to be 4-game matches at the Masters too.
Shit.
Yes. Yes.
The Ocho.
He's back. Ocho, have you met our good friend, Mike Val?
It's been a long time, Dr. Ocho. How are you?
Is that Mike Velez?
Yeah.
Get out! Oh, my God. Are you kidding me?
Where's Kevin Ryder?
Are we going to sing Mr. Roboto right now? Oh, my God.
Domo arigato to you.
Are you kidding me right
Johnny,
now?
I think the last time I saw the Fine Doctor, I was dancing on the bar at Howell Lane's.
With his shirt over my fucking face.
Oh, boy.
Is it story time there, Johnny?
I think we might. Rob, what do you think? Is it time to tell stories?
It's time to tell stories. Yeah.
Dude.
I actually, hang on. Before he goes too nuts.
So it screwed me up. I don't know who he was now.
Real quick, I got to close. Then we'll go right back to you, Oj. I got to close. I got to say one thing about the Masters.
Yes.
Number 1, Anthony Simonson. Fucking love you, dude. Congratulations. You are the future of this. You are the future of the sport. And you're right. They can't stop you. Right. And I am so fucking happy with what my boy said on that show. See you, Brett. Thanks for stopping by.
Did you see what he commented on? I'm sorry.
Could not go. Go ahead. Yeah.
Did you see Simo's comment when people were bitching about him in the USBC group? He said, Simo, counting his $100,000. So, I mean, he
unevolved people. Unevolved, jealous people, Rad Rob. That's it.
He won.
That kid dedicates his entire life to this sport. When he is not bowling, he is in his bowling center, leveling lanes, rebuilding machines, taking care of his life. He's in his mid-20s. I wish I had the brain and the talent that kid has. A kid's got fucking everything. And anybody that wants to say anything else about it, just don't.
They didn't like that he screamed at the camera and thought it was disrespectful to Norm.
It was not disrespectful to Norm. And honestly, the first thing that he would have even said to Norm in his ear, who is a good friend of his, is obviously, Norm, that was not directed towards you in any way, shape, or form. And they're on the same team. So the thing that did suck for me watching the Masters was Norm Duke losing. I think everybody that loves bowling will agree with watching that man at 58 still look that awesome and just kick everybody's ass, smoke everybody that entire week, man. Just I watched him live on Bowl TV or on Flow Bowling. Just the performance, and it was a shame to watch Norm lose. But I still think that Norm will be back. I don't think that Norm is the kind of person that's going to take an exit like that, because Norm knows now 100% that he can still win, and he's going to. He's not done winning yet. Anyway, that's all I had to say about the Masters. So you guys do whatever now.
The question being asked real quick: if Simo was number one and lost the same way, would you feel differently, or is it just because it's Norm?
I wanted Simo to win because he's one of my best buddies.
I know, but if the roles were flipped, I mean, you would have the same opinion, right? Like the champion has
as far as losing twice.
It's not just because it's Norm.
No. It's what I just said is what I would have said in any circumstance. Could have been bowling. Good. Hi, Oach.
What's up, buddy? We missed you. I didn't think you were going to show up. I mentioned to everybody that since you weren't going to show up, we're going to add a week to your contract. But since you're here, we're going to add about 15 minutes to your contract.
I wanted to come in so hot, and then I find out it's this freaking chucklehead right here. This chucklehead right here.
Where do you want to start, John?
I didn't know. Because you guys already ruined bowling. You ruined it with your freaking saying like, well, if you don't like Howell Lanes, you're going to go down to Ocean Lanes. I'm driving home and I hear that. And that's why it's a skill and not a sport. And we can venture that eventually, but
we've been trying to tackle that for like 3 weeks now.
It's been about a month-ish. It's been about 8 weeks.
We can't get there.
6 to 8 weeks.
I want you to. I think you should. Well, I'd like to tell a story about me and Mike.
Fix your camera for one, unless you're standing up. Because I mean, you're short, so I don't know if you're standing up or sitting down or just saying.
Oach?
Yeah, Oach.
He's definitely standing.
I got to put.
He doesn't sit.
I thought it was Mike Velez. Are you shitting me? I'm freaking ready to sing Mr. Roboto for Christ's sakes. And this guy, I came in like ready to go freaking off. And I find out it's this freaking chuck wagon. I don't need this in my life.
Yeah, you do.
Wow. I don't even have to say that.
I'm speechless right now. What? I've never felt so
red
before. What story do you want to tell? Do I even know where this is going?
I would like to tell probably the Pebble Creek golf course story.
That's a famous one.
Yeah. The only thing I'm gonna open with is Mike and I were really excited to play golf, and this was the time. I'll give you a gauge on what year it was. Mike probably already knows the year.
Stop posing it.
Remember when Tiger Woods, before he had the TW logo, he had like that weird logo that looked like a shark fin and a shark fin inside the oval. He came out with like a
ripoff or something. It was what it was.
It was like the first Tiger Woods gear. It was the first Tiger Woods logo.
Like
so Mike shows up in one of these shirts, and they were brand spanking new. Not a lot of people had them yet. So what is it, like 97, 98?
Yeah,
maybe?
probably. We were probably like second year of high school, probably. Right?
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. I was dating Sue. This is like 16, 17 years old. I'm 17, around then. All right, good. And Mike shows up in this shirt and these khakis. He's got his hat on. He looks great. Like we're all ready to go and play this really
the dress
nice
code we had to abide by.
Yeah. So go ahead.
So I get up to the tee, and I think I teed off first, and I hit a freaking bomb right down the fairway. I mean, this had to be like 275, 280 down the fairway.
I hit first.
Oh, you hit first. Okay. Well, I followed him up, hit it down the fairway, and I bent over to go pick up my tee, and I split my khakis right by my sack, and it went from like where my nuts are down to my knee, basically. And
it looked like a cloth that Jesus would wear.
That's what basically the Shroud of Turin is what happened.
Yeah. So Johnny saw this, and I'm like, oh, God, I can't play that round. We were playing with one other guy. I'm like, I can't play like this. Well, Johnny took his wedge out of the cart, and let me take a look at that. And he took his wedge, and he basically took it and put it in the hole and just ripped it right down. So now the rip on my khakis were down to my ankle.
Hey,
so I basically played the round with my manhood exposed the entire round. So we're walking up the 18th fairway, going, we're done. And there's Johnny's father on like the balcony or I guess we'll call it the balcony of the clubhouse, right, John? Like he was.
Yeah, like the back section where
Yeah.
they eat, like the restaurant.
Yeah. And he's looking, and he puts his glasses on top of his head, and he's like squinting his eyes and shaking his head. I just see him shaking his head. We finish, we put in, and we go up towards like the parking lot where he is now. And he looks at me, he goes, "What the fuck happened to you?" And it was one of those moments where he's like, "I don't even want you getting in my car. What the hell happened to you?" And he had the big Brunswick mobile. He had like the big Suburban.
The green one.
Such a disappointment.
I am.
Ooh.
Of course, think about it. What happened to you? You just ruined a golf cart, the pad. Like they had to disinfectant that, or it melted. I don't know.
Johnny and I bought fake IDs.
I was gonna say that was we got a tip to visit this luggage store in Manhattan. Well, it wasn't Manhattan.
Times Square, right in
Times Square. And we walked into this little tiny hole in the wall luggage store and had to go into the back room of the luggage store. And I remember putting my face in this thing, and the guy says, "It'll be about 15 minutes, 20 minutes."
Nick Papa Giorgio from Vegas Vacation is what we did, basically.
Yeah. Mine was ID only. It wasn't even a driver's license. I was from Knox, Indiana.
Yep, we were from Indiana.
I think I was 31 at the time.
Yeah, we had to memorize the address that this Middle Eastern gentleman made for us.
Yeah.
But this was before 9/11, so this guy was definitely like, that was a cell. That was definitely a terroristic cell in Times Square.
It was not.
And what was funny was that year I went to Boulder Peterson in Chicago, and I was 20. I wasn't 21 yet, so there was a casino out there, and I had the ID, and I went to the casino, and I forgot that Indiana is right next to Illinois, and I gave the guy my ID, and he did one of the looking at me, get lost. Shit.
I got mine, and I remember I don't know if I drove out here with Dan Benovitz or Pat Reynolds, but I remember going to the DJ Dome, which was a bar in the MGM Grand. It was the first time I ever tried to use my Knox, Indiana ID, and the guy let me in. I was with a group of like 4 people. And we were sitting I remember this like it was yesterday. We were sitting at a round table. I'm 17, 18 years old, happier than a pig in shit to be chilling in like this Vegas. It was like an elevated nightclub, but it was exposed to the casino floor. It was a lounge. It wasn't a nightclub. And I just remember this one guy that kept putting himself in the middle of these 4 women at the bar while I'm sitting back there drinking probably a Corona with a lime at that time, or something like a Coors Light or a Mike's Hard Lemonade, something stupid.
It was a Zima, John. Don't be kidding.
It's probably a Zima. And this guy is leaning over. He's like doing the thing, like, hey, trying to talk to them. And I witness one of the women that he's trying to hit on put a note on his back. Then I get a little closer, and the note says, "Stand back, I'm farting fire." So after like 20 minutes goes by, the guy finally leaves. The girls never, ever took the sign off the bastard's back. And I remember saying, make sure you're nice to people out here so you don't get tagged with signs like that.
Johnny, do you remember Evan Diamond?
Yeah, of course.
We bowled in college with this kid. He had a fake ID, but he decided to bowl a men's tournament with an alias so he wouldn't lose his junior status. You remember that?
I sure do.
And he goes... nobody didn't know who I am and whatnot, blah, blah, blah. Well, the kid goes, he wins the tournament, and somebody knew him, ratted him out. He lost all his scholarship money. So he goes down to Moorhead with us, and we used to have a meeting every Monday. Remember that, John? We had a meeting every Monday in the gym. So Johnny and I did not like the guy, Chip Akey, nice guy, but Chip did not drill the best bowling balls for us. And we drove home one weekend to drill bowling balls with OJ. God rest OJ's soul, by the way. And Evan Diamond found out we were drilling balls. His dad got us a couple. Parker got us a ball or 2. And he goes, "Hey, can Parker get us some balls?" Yeah, Evan, we got it. No problem. We weren't giving him a damn thing, if you remember. So when we got back to Moorhead for the meeting on Monday, everybody knew we were going home to drill balls. We drove 11 hours, came back. We had a case box of 4 16-pound house balls for Mr. Diamond. And we presented it to him with the note.
God, how do you remember this?
Yeah, we presented him in front of the whole team the box of balls, and he was so pissed off he threw the balls in the parking lot.
He got mad.
He was livid. What makes the story even better, we go back to the apartment like a day or two later, and Parker calls us. And he goes, "Do you guys?" I'm not going to use his last name. Do you guys know an Evan Diamond? I'm like, yeah. Why? He goes, his mom just sent me this beautiful email thanking me for the bowling balls I gave her son. What the f are you guys doing? Whoops.
I didn't know that part. I don't remember that part.
Yeah.
I remember how pissed he was about the house balls.
Oh, he was.
Oh
livid.
man, that was hard. We were so shitty. That was so shitty.
We're
funny though.
We didn't play.
We're not shitty anymore.
No, we didn't play the game of life very well.
No, we didn't.
Well, yeah, the game of life. How about the game of making business? I came on a show that I thought we had a guest, and I find out.
Still on it.
I show up. Are you kidding me? And it's like, oh, we got this guy. He's got a lot more vowels and consonants than his name that I ever thought.
Johnny,
and I show up, and it's this guy.
Johnny, I remember we used to bowl the Wednesday league at Howell, the scratch league at Howell.
I didn't
What the
know
hell
you
was
were a
that?
bowler, for Christ's sakes. I thought you were one of me.
Oh, I'm one of you, all right. But I remember with Dr. Ocho, we would close the bar on Wednesday nights at like 2
And we play
a.m.
sticks every freaking night.
Was that the Boardwalk Classic?
Whatever.
Cleaners.
The Cleaners League.
Cleaners Warehouse. That's right. That's right.
And
Mike would stand on the bar, and Steph would be like, "Go ahead, Mike," and Mike would pull up his shirt and all that stuff. Don't play dumb now. Don't play coy, buddy.
Oh no, not at all. And I remember one night. How about this one? We got to the traffic light on Route 9 to make the left to go home, and I was driving with Pete Daniel and Tracy Thompson, Rusty's sister.
Daniel. Why do I know that name too? He was
Pete Daniel, the prettiest
Another
boy in
good
America.
bowler.
He quit. He don't bowl anymore. He's a pretty boy.
He's still the prettiest boy out there.
Oh yeah, he definitely is. He's a good-looking guy. Well, there was somebody next to us at the traffic light, and Pete was just so hammered. He pulled down his pants, and he threw his bare ass on the window and showed the woman next to us his hanging brains on Route 9.
Up against the window, or like
did she roll down the window and ask him to follow her?
It's better against the window than it is out the window.
No, it was right on the window, flush on the window.
Then it's legal, private property. I know the law.
These were things that we used to do. We were all fucked up back in the day.
Oh yeah.
Ocho still is. Parking back then. No, don't bring me into this. You know what, man? I see in the group chat we got a guest, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna try to rush home. What the fuck, man?
Ocho, learn how to read. Johnny clearly put in the chat today who it was. You just weren't paying attention.
No, he added so many more letters to his name.
That's his last name.
Yeah. Ocho, let me just say something. I said to Johnny the other day, I said, "Who is Dr. Ocho?" And he goes, "You really don't know who that is?"
No,
by the way,
he wouldn't know my real name either. That's the
I
other
said,
thing.
I have no idea who he is. And Johnny said 2 clues to who you were. I said, "Get the hell out! There's no way that's him." He goes, "I swear to God." I said, "I haven't seen him in 15 years.
It's
easily
the best
15
incognito because he wouldn't know my real name because nobody did.
No, I would have.
My real name or just the idiot name at the bar, and I'm not Dr. Ocho to you, so I figured.
I know you're not Dr. Ocho. I would have put 2 and 2 together.
Wait, you're not Dr. Ocho?
Of course I'm Dr. Ocho, for fuck's sakes. It's just that nobody for 20 years in the league did anybody call me by my actual name because they knew the nickname because of Dr. Ocho.
Where's Kevin Ryder?
I can't believe that's a 2-time Kevin Ryder shout out.
Where's
Kevin
that guy
Ryder
been?
got married and is I think he died.
Did he really?
No, he didn't die. No. Please don't say that. No. Because here's the thing. Even so, all right. Obviously, you remember John L. So John L. said he saw him at the Wawa about a year ago, and we were at his wedding years ago when we knew he was going to die. And he goes, "Dude, what are you doing?" And Ryder goes, "Oh, I can't talk. I gotta go." And he's like, "No. We're at the Wawa. I'm just getting a coffee. What have you been up to?" He's like, "I gotta run." And that's been it. That's the Kevin Ryder legacy.
Jesus.
That's it.
When you said he died, I'm like, I thought he really passed away. It would have been really sad.
Don't do that. He might as well have. But
You did it.
You said
did it.
I know, but I don't mean it like that. There's a tone to Dr. Ocho that you already get.
It's okay. We're just glad you're here. We're glad you're not hurt.
I'm glad I'm about to see
I
you.
didn't die either yet.
Good.
Any
can't
flex?
believe- I'm looking at the chat. How many consonants are in your name? Because
You know what the funny thing is, Dr. Ocho? So there's a story to why I changed my name, and that Johnny asked, and I told him why I did it.
Because you were going to get deported. I know. It's okay.
Now, see, Johnny, that's a good one. People thought it was from the IRS, that I was running from the IRS.
No, I didn't. I never knew why you changed it.
No. Oh, I told you why I did it, but I said people thought that I was running from
okay, cool.
The IRS.
You don't run anywhere.
No.
That's fine.
God, I miss you.
I miss you more.
Jesus.
This is our guest. Are you shitting me?
But did we
So
not have
tell
a good
me.
conversation?
Of course it is. I'm more ecstatic now because I was going to offend whoever was going to be the guest, and instead it's you.
He
Which I've
was.
already offended
No, he
a million
was.
times.
Hey, do you remember a woman named Kitty that used to hang out at the bar?
Yes.
Stop.
Yes.
He's doing that on purpose. That's why.
I want to hear this.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No, she was a very nice lady. Very nice lady.
Come on.
Hold on, Oach. What?
Real quick.
No, yes, of course. She drove me home, and I had to get new milk creamer the next day because I left it in my damn car because she drove me home, and I left it in my car.
She drove me home, and I gave her my milk creamer. It was all good.
Oh, son of a bitch!
boy.
It really was milk creamer. Like I went back to the freaking the Twin Pond, and it was like, "What happened to the creamer you just bought?" And I was like, it's in the car. That's over at the bowling alley. I gotta go get." That's horrible.
Johnny,
These are terrible people.
you have something to say.
Oh, I was just going to say, Oach, before you come out to bowl USBCs, you should drill a Wolverine. It looks really good out here.
As soon as I meet her, I will.
Okay.
Dr. Ocho, when are you going to bowl the USBCs?
I don't know.
He has no idea.
I'm coming out this month, John.
Excellent.
I'm actually coming out this
You're
month
always-
and in June.
Well, love to have you over for dinner, and you're more than welcome to stay if you need a place to crash.
I am coming with Dave Knight Jr.
Nice.
and Michael Stevens.
Oh, definitely come over and come swimming.
How did you just come freaking steal my thunder? He was talking to me, and then again, you gotta go play like Sail Away instead of Mr. Roboto. That's what you're gonna do. I know.
Another good song.
Very good song.
I muted him, so I think
You
he's
muted
coming.
Oach?
Yeah, I did. I'm tired of listening to him. Fucking God, I didn't think he's gonna show up tonight, but
Yeah, were we actually supposed to be talking about anything else?
I don't think so, other than just
I know we
bullshit.
kind of dove hard into the bullshit again,
How about Dr. Ocho?
for
How about,
for lack of a better term.
Dr. Ocho made a comment that I don't run anywhere. Did you catch that, Johnny? He said, I don't run anywhere.
I distinctly remember you running one time.
I ran once. Johnny, I used to tape, if you ever go to the boardwalk. Yeah, this guy's laughing. You know those rubber frogs at the boardwalk?
Where you
Like
got to
those-
hit them and like to try to get them in their bogs
Yeah.
and everything.
Yeah.
Get him in the lily
Get 'em in, like
pad.
the little pad, right? So somehow I had one for years. I don't know how I had one of these things. And I kept it in my bag. And we bowled something at Seagert, which is now it's knocked down. And Johnny was so pissed off, he took my frog and he walked out of the bowling center and he threw it on the roof of the lanes at Seagert. Right on the roof.
Now what happened? Time
So
out.
we went
time
down
out.
with demolition, basically. Like,
Time out.
Dick.
This is really fucked up, but I like the way those rubber frogs feel in my hands, like
I'm
a
not-
stress
dude,
ball.
He's not
And
lying.
listen, hang on.
Dude, no,
I
you're
love,
not lying.
I love
the
it.
texture is so freaking crazy.
They're
It's like
wonderful.
A freaking mango.
They make
It's
me
like a
feel
mango.
so good.
Dude, it's like a mango. I swear to God. He's not
I
lying.
asked him if I said, Mike, I don't even know where to buy this. I can't just go buy my own frog. This thing is so great. I want it. And I would ask him over and over again if I could have the frog. So at the end of bowling nights, I would take the frog out of his bag in hopes that he would not ask me. And that night, I remember there were several nights he'd say, John, bring the frog back. And fuck, I almost get out of here with the frog. That day, I was trying to get out of there with the frog, and he was coming to get the frog, and I was really going to leave with the frog. That's when I threw the shit on the roof.
I chased him down to Route 35 And for a husky gentleman like myself, Dr. Ocho,
He was gaining on me.
yeah, I gained him, and then I finally got out to win, and Johnny got out to win too. And Robbie Corbo, I don't know how Robbie pulled this one off. Robbie Corbo got the owner of the bowling center to get a ladder and go on the roof to retrieve the frog. I didn't talk to Johnny for like 3 weeks. I was so pissed off at him.
I remember when they handed it back to you, you did like the double arm raise.
Yeah.
Showing it off.
Oh my
with
God,
the frog.
dude, by the way, Mike gave me my Ultimate Warrior freaking rubber doll.
Oh, how sweet.
What did I
Mike,
do?
you don't remember? You showed up at the bowling alley and gave me an Ultimate Warrior rubber doll.
You know what?
Like
I do remember that. Like the action
Well,
figure.
stop
The action
playing
figure.
dumb.
Yeah, the
I
action
just
figure.
had a flashback, man. Now
I
I really
try to
hate your guts. Now, you know what? You're a fake. You're a fraud. You're a phony. You didn't run. There's no frogs. This whole freaking show's a sham. I thought that would have freaking perked him up so good. God dang it.
So great.
Oh, Joe, you knew it was Mike Val, which you showing up earlier.
No, not at all. No,
Okay, that's fine.
absolutely not. I would have
So now
been like, dude, he doesn't bowl. He's one of the idiots like me. I don't show up for me, for crying out loud.
That's
the,
fair.
the question now becomes, Rob, since Dr. Ocho knows who it is now, do I get to come back for a full hour with Dr. Ocho in another episode is the question.
Yes,
No.
you need to. No, we need to.
No.
We're running out of time.
Sorry.
But yes, no, that has
Yeah,
to be.
we're gonna have to have another trivia show here.
Corporate banned him already.
A trivia
Rob.
show.
Yes,
Rob,
John. Yes.
do you remember earlier when I told you he's
Me.
he
Just like the Brady Bunch.
yeah, he
Yeah,
is
the youngest one. And
got a better brain than me when it comes to this stuff?
Yes. Yes.
Watch this.
Here we go.
Mike,
Yes, John.
Who'd the Steelers beat in 1994?
can you mute him? Can you mute him? Because we got to wrap this up. Thank you.
Oh, you want a brain?
The Hanging Brains.
The 1997 AC Delco Classic.
Best show ever.
I want you to tell me who bowled the first match, what shirts they were wearing,
Jesus.
and what balls they were throwing.
And this is why I have no friends, all right? and the fine doctor shaking his head.
And
John-
Rob, why don't
he's the
you
same way.
queue up? Why don't you queue up the 1997 AC Delco Classic
Okay.
somewhere in the first match, and that way we can roll
See
it.
if the validity
And see if he's
the
close.
validity of what I'm saying is gonna be right. So and Johnny,
And I'm gonna say something too, unless he hits the nail on the head. So
this is one of my favorite shows ever. And
So that's
and
easy.
I've said this to him. This show turned Parker's career around.
oh yeah,
So the opening match was Weber and Albee. Albee had on the Danger Zone shirt. Through DZ2, Weber had
explain the colors of the Danger Zone shirt.
Oh, it was like that gray and black stripe on the side, right? And like a big gray like block, some shit
Okay.
like that. Weber
And
had
the ball.
he threw a DZ2.
Okay.
Weber had that Blue Thunder shirt, the blue Thunder shirt, with the lightning with that fucking cobra thing on his wrist, playing the seventh arrow at Cow Bowl, right? Wins
Need
the
more
first.
Cow Bowl.
Needs more Cow Bowl. He goes to the second match. He bowls Walter. Walter's playing 2 with a combat zone, and he goes open in the 8th, open in the 10th on the left lane. Weber doubles on the right lane where he had no clue what he was doing. Slaps it out. Fucking Cobra falls off his hand. Goes to the third match. He bowls Parker. Parker goes ring 7, whiffs it in the first frame. Ring 7 spare. Weber bowls 150. Parker goes to the title match. He bowls Couch, who's throwing a Red Wolf. And the Couch only had like 4 or 5 titles at this point. He didn't really like blossom yet. And Parker doubled in the 10th to win. That was his first title in God knows how long. And Parker won the following week at the Showboat. Bowled 299, ran the ladder, beat Walter again for the title. How am I doing, John?
By the way, Rob, you don't even have to roll it. I mean, if you just want to show the Thunder shirt, the Lightning,
Yeah,
the DZ2, and the black and white stripe on Mike Albee's shirt in match 1.
He said like he whiffed it. That means he missed the first spare in the open frame and then went and did good. Is that I'm trying to
Parker rang a 7 and missed it in the first frame.
and then just went on a tear, I guess.
Pete was in the second match when Pete beats Walter.
Just watch Weber throw one shot. This is where he
Yeah.
started.
Mike, just remember, I've learned nothing in the 15 years since I've seen you, so you got to remember that.
Weber was out of lane.
Crowds all week, as we always have in the Los
Yeah.
Angeles area.
John,
And the game,
Delco Classic,
he
their
beats
favorite.
Walter in the second match 2-0 to 190 when Walter misses in the 8th and the 10th. He splits twice. But he threw like the back 5 in that game just to bowl 2-0.
Yeah, exactly. And
So, like, by the time he got to the next match, he legit had nothing. He couldn't throw it anywhere. It was horrible.
this is for Charlie Tapp. If Weber was wearing a PW, he runs the ladder.
Hands down.
100%.
P. Weber should have had on the PW.
Yeah, exactly. Any other questions?
I'm beyond upset. I'm beyond upset that I rushed home for this.
Because it's not an actual guest.
I thought it was somebody, and I didn't know. And
Get in there and be somebody.
I just didn't.
Before we go and let everybody know where to find all you guys, there is one question that this gentleman's been sitting here wanting to ask. Getting back to the balls. Chris Wilson wants to know, do you think USBC saved Storm from costing them millions of dollars from keeping the illegal softballs legal to use during USBC league play?
Storm is losing millions of dollars to begin with.
Do I think the USBC saved Storm from costing them meaning
Storm?
Or USBC? Do you think the USBC saved Storm from costing the USBC millions of dollars from keeping the illegal soft bowling balls legal to use during USBC league play?
That makes more sense, right? Like only being national tournaments and not fucking the league bowlers over.
I don't think the.
Does that make sense though? Like, because people are like, fuck this, I'm not going to bowl in this league. I can't afford to get new balls, right? Like, is that a legitimate thing?
I don't think they. It's a different. Why am I not understanding this?
It's worded very weird.
Yeah, I'm thrown off. I don't.
Storm is losing millions of dollars in this whole debacle. They are.
Oh yeah, just in replacement product.
Yeah, I mean, God only knows how many millions of dollars are going to be out.
Yeah. By the way,
can they rephrase that, or like, are they still on, or no? Is that something?
I don't know if he's still in the chat, Chris. If you're still here, try to get a better understanding of what actual.
Yeah, I don't want to answer that without understanding the question.
Yeah.
By the way, did I tell you guys this? The USBC made a post in their forum today. They're hiring immediately on site, looking for people with experience with videography and interviewing all of the bowlers as the leaders take over.
Ocho, that's you.
So I put my emoji on there like this, and people are commenting, "Oh my God, John, you'd be so perfect for this role. You'd be so perfect." I'm like, yeah, until the USBC watches the show for the last 2 weeks. But yeah, initially I was like, you know what, I would love to do that, and seriously, I think I would do really well at it.
The First Amendment says we're all journalists, so go, man. That's the thing. The First Amendment gives us the freedom of the press, so go do your thing.
Ocho, you know a guy that used to live in New Jersey area that was a videographer or blogger, I guess. Maybe you could get some advice from him.
Yeah, his name is Mike.
Johnny, don't you think it would be great if we were the commentators on the shows for the PBA?
I think we would kill it, dude.
Or even if we did it like on a setting like this,
it would literally be pro wrestling setting, though. That's what we'd be like. Can you believe that idiot threw that fucking ball?
We would be
uncensored.
We would be a perfect mix of giving information to customers and also letting or viewers and also letting them know what the bowlers are really thinking in each moment that they're in. Like I think that would bring a different sense to a more unfettered approach to the bowling world. I'll tell you what,
John. I'll give you the invitation. I'll give you the invitation right now. One of these shows coming up for the playoffs.
Want to do live commentary?
If you're around, I don't know what your schedule is. I'll make myself available. We can do a live commentating show with both of our fan bases and just let it go for 90 minutes.
I like 30 people watching.
What do you guys think?
Asshole. Yes, no, that's a great idea. I think, yeah.
I'm in. 100%.
Yeah, I'm in. No, that would be good. And as long as Charlie taps in the chat, oh man,
I'm upset Revs isn't here tonight, but it's always good to see Charlie.
Yeah. Last thing, I guess Chris just wants to know: do you think USB?
Chris, big fat fuck no. to that one. Big fat fuck no.
We're all pretty.
It's the absolute dumbest fucking decision in the history of our sport to make.
Yeah, agreed.
That was unfettered.
It was unfettered. Let's wrap it up here.
It was a little fettered.
Oh, Joe. Mike, thank you for coming on the show as always.
Thank you, Mike. Whoever you might be, whatever your real name is.
I am always.
Whatever your freaking real name is, thank you.
Mike Val.
It was very nice being here.
Yes.
And
Mike
Johnny
Valerie.
and I, we're going to talk. We will do that. I like that idea.
Yeah, me too.
Where can people find you, Mike? Let everybody know about your podcast and whatever you want to plug.
Bohn N Zano Zone on YouTube. You can find us there. Same thing on Facebook. We do our show 7:00 Eastern every Tuesday. Myself and Justin Bohn. That's where we are 3 years in, still running strong. And Johnny, that was the trade-off. I got to come on your show. Johnny's going to come on with us. And maybe we'll bring Dr. Ocho in for
I'm going. I'm a package deal, man. You're damn right.
Nobody wants to hear about your package. So.
No, believe me, it's going to be way more than that.
Johnny, what do you got going on? Where can we find you?
You guys can find me on my Facebook page at just Johnny Petraglia, not a junior, and also on Twitter at JPJR07. And also, as usual, thank you all for being here. Take a minute, hit the like button and the subscribe button. Is there even a subscribe button?
On YouTube, there is.
On YouTube, there is. But yeah, every like helps. And last thing that I want to say, because even though we do talk real on here, I do get a little bit emotional sometimes. And kids, don't talk like me. Cut the fucks down. Don't be cursing as much as me out here. It's show respect to everybody. I do get a little bit over the top emotional on here because this sport has been my life a lot, but I'm certainly not certainly telling y'all to, don't have a potty mouth like me.
Yeah,
like stay cool and respectful. It's way cooler.
Yeah, don't just maybe like 4 or 5 fucks, just cut them down.
We saw what we had to say. You two is good now.
I love it, John.
But yeah, we appreciate all the viewership and looking forward to bringing you some new content every single week. So thanks again for being here.
Dr. Ocho, what's your Twitter handle?
I don't know.
You fucking dick.
You can find
at the Dr. Ocho on Twitter. He won't ever answer you. He'll probably block you if you follow him. But
I've never blocked one person in my life. I don't ever do that.
He will block me momentarily.
That won't happen. Are you kidding me?
You don't block anybody because you don't know how, Och.
That's a good point too.
I missed you, Ocho. I really did. When I heard you weren't going to be here
tonight, aim and you'll hit me next time.
No, well, I got sad when you weren't going to be here, so I'm glad you were able to.
Yeah, we extended the show an extra half hour just because you showed up.
Way to go, because fucking. Yeah.
And then I come in thinking we got a guest. Damn.
Yeah. And instead, it's somebody whose last name you don't know how many consonants are.
Favorite guys, you guys. No kidding aside, this guy was awesome.
I still am awesome. What are you talking about?
No, he was awesome. Because
I can't even pronounce his last name. I thought maybe he was on the government watch list.
It was so easy. It was easy 15 years ago.
It's like Manalapan with different letters.
In Manalapan. Yeah. Manalapan. Dr. Ocho, I own a winery down in South Jersey. It's the same name as the winery.
Yeah. Oh, well, you should know that, Och.
Which name? I only know you by one name.
Google
Mike, just move your head a little bit to the side.
Which?
That way. Can you read his banner?
That's not his freaking name.
I'm back. He just told you why that's his name.
Doesn't matter. It's not his freaking name. It wasn't his name. Right. I got one name. I remember.
I can't handle him. I can't.
Some people have to go to bed here, Dr. Ocho.
Yeah, and I got to go.
This guy has
a
London broil downstairs.
Johnny's food's already cold, so I mean,
For London broil, I didn't mean to interrupt the show that I'm the star of. It's my fault.
No, we're always happy when you're here. Ding, ding, ding.
That's for you, Och. Guys, thanks for watching here on Facebook and YouTube. We'll be back next week for another edition of Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. We'll see you next week. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for listening to Straight Up 5. If you would like to send your questions into Johnny Jr., send us an email